get into the content of the class. And this is good foundational content is what we're learning in this class. So we're going to focus a lot on different age groups of children and the different stages that they're in during those age groups, and a lot of the theories and theorists that go with those. And yes, you touched on those some in the Child Development Professional 1103, but we're really going to dig deeper into those in this class. And so you might be wondering, why is that so important? Why are theories important? Because they help us understand the different ages and stages. And the reason that is important is because of one of the big things we talked about in the Child Development Professional, and that is DAP, Developmentally Appropriate Practices. So now that we understand how important it is to be doing things with children that are appropriate for where that child is at, in order to do that, we've got to understand where that child is at, right? And so that's where it's important for us to learn what we're going to learn in this class, which is about different things that children are capable of, and ready to learn and ready to be pushed in the direction of at different ages and stages in their lives. So it's really some basic core content that's going to help you in your job, in your career, in your other classes, and just really build on things like that. In addition to knowing, helping us know what's DAP and planning, it can also help us recognize delays sometimes if children are developmentally delayed. We've got to know, if we know what is typical of a particular age or group, then we can know when a child might need some extra help in an age or group, or not be developing at maybe the rate that we would hope. And sometimes that's not a problem at all, but sometimes it's a sign that some intervention is needed. It's also good to know all these different ages and stages, because it's what makes all of us who we are. Different things that happen to us at different phases in our lives, and ways that we were raised and things like that just make an impact in who we are. So it's good to get to know that. One thing I want to note as we go through this class and all classes is that I really encourage you to get used to using the language of the profession. When you're writing in your responses, when you're writing your discussion posts, get used to using the terminology that you see in your textbooks and in your reading, and really embracing the language of the profession is what I mean. And that will help you start talking that way too. And when you're talking to parents and when you're talking at work, you'll really sound like the professional that you are, because you'll be able to not just say, instead of, and this is a very simple, basic example, but instead of, well, that kid's poor, and so there are problems because he's not getting what he needs because he's poor. We would say things like, well, so, there are socioeconomic struggles and things like that. So that's a really basic one, but that's an example. And it's just like the example, you wouldn't want to go get your car worked on by a mechanic and him use language like, or she, and him use language like, well, there's something wrong with the thingamajig. You expect your mechanic to know what the thingamajig is actually called, or to go to the doctor. Well, there's something wrong. We need to work on your, oh, I can't remember the word right now. You expect him or her to be educated and use the right terms. So, we just want to present ourselves as the professionals that we are as well. So try to practice in your writing and speaking for this class to use the terminology that you learn through your courses. So let's take a look at this